you done now?
Your fatal mistake. You told us at dinner that we were eating one of your favorite recipes. And monkey's brains, though popular in Cantonese cuisine, are not often to be found in Washington, D.C.
Is that what we ate?
Why would I have murdered all the others?
Obviously, in case Mr. Body had told him about you.
So it was all nothing to do with the disappearing nuclear physicist and Colonel Mustard's work on the new fusion bomb.
No, communism was just a red herring. Mrs. Peacock did it all.
There's no proof.
Well, the gun is missing. Gentlemen, turn out your pockets. Ladies, empty your purses. Whoever has the gun is the murderer.
Very well. What do you propose to do about it?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing at all. I don't approve of murder, but it seems to me you've done the world a public service by ridding it of an appalling blackmailer and his disgusting informers.
But the police will be here any minute. What happens then?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Clue Movie Podcast, where we break down the 1985 cult classic movie Clue. We want to give a big shout out to all the Cluvians listening from all over the world, baby. We are here to talk about minute 86 of Clue the movie.
Our favorite
Film of all time. One of the favorite films of all time.
Our favorite ending.
And our favorite ending?
It's growing on me. There were some funny things that happened in this minute.
I know. I actually got the rare Jeff Smith chuckle during the film. Normally, it's me who does
That's
it.
True.
But this
That's
is the
true.
Jeff Smith chuckle.
I did let out a audible chuckle at Tim Curry,
which is no surprise. I mean, Tim Curry is Tim Curry. Now we picked up in the last week. We were talking about this ending. This is how it might have happened, or this is what.
How about this? This is the how about this one.
How about this? That's what could have happened.
Say
how about this?
Right. How about this? Right. You know, relax. Take a look and tell us what you think.
We're just throwing it out there. There. How about this?
How about it?
I will say on the onset for this minute, Peacock does seem menacing in her delivery. Eileen Brennan is doing pretty good at being menacing. Would you not say?
It's true. I would say it, and she does something that I didn't notice until now. I noticed two things for the first time watching this, and the second one got my chuckle. But when Wadsworth says he mentions monkey's brains, she licks her lips. Like she's just even thinking that's her favorite recipe. She even thinks about it for a second, and she licks her lips. And I never had noticed she did that. She really likes monkey's brains. Like, I think she thinks she's going to leave. Go get some more monkey brains somewhere. They're not that often to be found in Washington, D.C., but she's in New England, and strange things happen.
Wow, I just went back and just looked at it real quick. She does. She gives a very purposeful licking of the lips.
Delicious.
Monkey brain.
She can't hide it.
Now,
she can't hide it. That's her weakness.
I looked up monkey's brains, of course.
Dude.
And let's read a little bit about it, if you don't mind. Monkey's brains is a supposed dish consisting of, at least partially, the brain of some species of monkey or ape. While animal brains have been consumed in various cuisines, example, egg and brains or fried brain sandwiches, there is debate about whether monkey brains have actually been consumed. In Western popular culture, its consumption is repeatedly portrayed and debated, often in the context of portraying exotic cultures as exceptionally cruel, callous, or strange.
Mm-hmm.
Actual monkey brains were historically part of the Manchu Han imperial banquet of the Qing Empire held during the 17th century. I'm assuming that's... Where is that? That is in China.
Sounds German. Oh, no, I was way off. Yeah, well, he says it's Cantonese cuisine. I don't know anything about Cantonese cuisine, but I don't think I ever assumed that was true. even the year before Clue came out, we had Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, where they were eating chilled monkey's brains. And there's portions of Temple of Doom now that are considered not very politically correct as far as depictions of people from a certain region. So I don't know. It sounds like it'd be difficult to, first of all, catch a monkey. Like, I don't know if you ever tried to catch a monkey, but it's not easy.
I don't think I've ever been in the presence of a monkey other than the zoo.
Okay. Well, it's even harder there because you'll get in a lot of trouble. But if you try, they're wiggly. I will say that. Monkeys are very wiggly, and they don't like you touching their heads.
So here's some depictions of monkeys' brains in fiction. A fictional depiction of the consumption of monkeys' brains is shown in the 1978 Mondo film. I don't know what Mondo means. Mondo film Faces of Death. Oh, it's a subgenre of exploitive documentary films. Directed by...
You've never heard of Faces of Death?
I've never heard of Faces of Death.
Oh, okay. Let me tell you real quick about Faces of Death.
Go for it.
It does apply. Faces of Death was a video that came out in the 80s, and the whole thing was it was supposed to depict real death. So it would be like cultures where they had ceremonies where you actually watched it. There were shots of shots. That's poor choice of words, but there'd be scenes from the news where like police would take down a suspect and they'd show it in graphic detail. And it was supposed to be the most outrageous. It was famous, and people like kids my age would be like, "We need to get Faces of Death. We need to watch Faces of Death. We need to rent it." And I think I did eventually get it, and it was very dull, and I think a lot of it was not real. But that makes sense that they would show. I mean, I'm sure if it's in Faces of Death, I'm sure they probably like show an actual monkey having his brains removed, and it's nothing I would recommend, especially while eating dinner.
So
unless it's monkey brains.
But it's false, right?
I think some of it is real, but I think some of it is fake. Like some of it looked like it was just the evening news where they, usually they try to cut away before the police like shoot a suspect, but this showed it. I remember that.
Well, look, here we go. The scene in the scene depicted in Faces of Death, an Eastern-themed restaurant with patrons seated around the table watching a belly dance. A narrator explains that these are tourists who have come to this location to consume the house specialty. The proprietor signals for a server to bring out a monkey, which is then secured inside a pin built into the table. The tourists are given hammers, and they proceed to hit the monkey on the head until it is killed. The server then cuts open the skull and removes the monkey brain onto a plate for patrons to sample. No monkey was harmed in the making of the scene, however. The hammers were being made of foam, and the monkey's head a prop filled with gelatin, red food coloring, and cauliflower to simulate brain matter. There you go. An additional depictions in the decade following the release of Faces of Death contain certain scenes which reference the practice of eating monkey brains, including one from the 1984 film Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, the 1981 Japanese crime film Sailor Suit and Machine Gun, as well as dialogue from the 1985 comedy Clue. In addition to their shock value, what these scenes have are common representations of blah, 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 blah. Okay, cinematic tropes of the Far East, yada, yada, yada. Conflate bizarre and vulgarized representations of the Far East.
I wonder if Clue was the last movie to do the monkey brain reference, and then after that, it's like, we could do better.
It's the last one cited for monkey brains, and there you go. So, I mean, look, apparently, we're not sure if it was ever popular in Cantonese cuisine or
I don't think it sounds like it.
In New England. It doesn't sound like it's real.
I don't think so. I think that the cook pulled a fast one on Mrs. Peacock. I don't think that was monkey brains ever.
It was like spam.
And she probably told her because Mrs. Peacock is weird, and she is, kind of like cruel in some ways, and probably would get a kick out of eating monkey brain, and also think she's like super exotic and worldly. And she's got this cook that makes this. This is one of my favorite. Why would that be your favorite?
It's weird.
If it's more, it can't be the taste. And it certainly, if you look at it in the movie, it looks like mashed potatoes. So I don't think it's the texture. I think she just got a kick out of Monkey's Brains, and I don't think she ever had it ever. I think we just solved another mystery in Clue. That was not what they ate. So Mr. Green threw up for no reason.
And like, how many monkeys would you need to make dinner for?
How big are monkey
7?
brains? Yeah. Well, that's true. They had, yeah, I would guess, because I'm picturing like, little, cute little Abu. I know I made a reference to Aladdin last episode. Here's another one. Abu from Aladdin, picturing a monkey that size. His brains can't be that big.
No.
And for everybody to dine, and they were about to bring more. She was bring something for Mr. Body, so I assume he was going to have some.
Yeah, I would imagine like Abu's brain is like a nectarine size at the biggest.
Yeah. I mean, he was pretty smart, but the brain size doesn't always go to smartest.
Right.
I thought.
Well, look, this culinary talk.
But the licking lips was not what I laughed at. What I laughed at out loud was Wadsworth has this incredible look of satisfaction when Peacock takes the gun out of her purse, or as they say in New England, handbag. When she takes the gun out, he almost licks his lips. His mouth like goes into this big open mouth smile. And he almost seems like one that he's very impressed with himself, but also he's not acted like super judgy on her. Like, yeah, you did it. We got you. Because he doesn't seem mad. He's like impressed that, and maybe that goes back to all the physicality that I foolishly perhaps doubted last time. Maybe he is aware, and he's aware that she's pulled this incredible fast one on everyone, that she's kind of just moving around a little older than everybody. And, and she did it all. She did it all. She's the only one that did it all. So I think Wadsworth is kind of impressed.
She did it
So
all.
you know what? I like this ending now. Never mind. I've turned. I like this one.
Whoa, you're in on
Makes
this
sense.
ending?
I'm in.
You're all the way in.
All in on ending 2.
Wow. It's a pretty big, pretty big turnaround there.
Well, it takes a brilliant person to admit when he's wrong. Someone with some major
Monkey brains?
monkey brains. Yep.
God.
Take that a boot.
Now, is this No, did we hear in the last inning, you're going to have to remind me, did we hear in the last inning that communism was a red herring?
Yeah, we get that in all of them.
So that's all
Communism
3.
is a red herring, sticks around. It's all like this had nothing to do with the top secret, blah, 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 blah.
I think we've
Communism
talked
is
about
a
this
red
before.
herring.
Did you know
Mhm.
red herring? Like, were you
The
aware?
term?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know it until way later that it was involved. It had something to do with hunting.
It has something to do with
Um,
hunting?
Yeah, red herring is they would put a red herring. And actually, one of the testimonials in the Clue documentary, one of the Clue fans even mentions it. It had something to do with dogs, hunting dogs being off the scent of like a fox or something like that, and they would smell like a red herring. And then, so red herring was a distraction.
So let's see here.
That's what it means. But I didn't know. That was one of the things that, as a kid, flew over my head as far as Clue, and it was even more confusing because they did it 3 times.
So a red herring is something that misleads or distracts from a relevant or important question. Yes, it's also a fish. It may be either a logical fallacy or a literary device that leads readers or audiences towards a false conclusion. A red herring may be used intentionally, as in mystery fiction, or as a part of a rhetorical strategy, example in politics, or may be used in argumentation inadvertently. The term was popularized in 1807 when English polemist, what is a polemist? William Cobbett, who told a story of having used a strong-smelling smoked fish to divert and distract hounds from chasing a rabbit. What is a polemist?
Rabbit, okay. I don't know.
A polemist is polemic is contentious rhetoric intended to support a specific position. Huh. Okay. Well, there you go.
I think we have a little bit of that in all of us.
I think there's a little bit of that in all of us. Absolutely.
A little bit of polemic. And then my other favorite thing about this is Michael McKeon's reaction when he comes out of the bathroom. And this is one of my favorite things that I only saw when I first started seeing Clue on the big screen during the pandemic. He goes to the bathroom to throw up before Peacock takes the gun out. He comes back out, and she's pointing the gun at Wadsworth, and he has a wonderful shocked reaction, like, what did I just miss? And then he catches up real quick, because then he asks about the police immediately. But he does have the look like his glasses are off, and he's like very surprised. It's a good moment for Michael McKean.
This is a great moment for Michael McKean, as it is for Peacock and her red herring. Because again, think about the cerebral approach Peacock took, similar to that of Scarlet, planting evidence, creating confusion, leading to false conclusions. Although there wasn't really a false conclusion ever led to, right? I mean, Wadsworth picks the right conclusion.
She's trying to point throughout the movie, not that often, but enough times that it's Colonel Mustard. She has it in for Colonel Mustard, which is interesting. She's a politician's wife, and she's going after a military guy. I wonder what's going on there. But even there, when Wadsworth says the killer went back to the cellar, and she says, but Colonel Mustard wasn't in the cellar. No. But you were.
So good, man. So good.
Score kicks in.
Best use.
Oh, and also Wadsworth has a funny moment where he chokes Mrs. White as he's like walking out. Can't forget that.
Yes. Wait, I wanted to bring
where
that
she
up.
like goes, ah.
I want to bring that up, and then he throws Mr. Green down to the ground, which is kind of prone to do.
His favorite thing.
And Green's glasses fall off. I just love how they're all so down to go with it.
Yeah. They just want to know. Give us some answers.
But they're just like down to like, okay, yeah, I'll pretend I'm getting choked, and yeah, I'll get thrown down again.
Yeah, and maybe that's why there aren't flashbacks in this one. We don't need it. They did it themselves. It's like an example of that would be, I know we never referenced this show, Seinfeld, when George has to tell the story of the golf ball and the whale. Originally, they shot flashbacks of that scene, but the story that Jason Alexander tells so well, they never used it. So maybe same thing.
Titleist.
Hole in one.
Hole in one. The sea was angry that day, my friends, like an old man trying to send soup back into Delhi. Great line. As far as what you were saying is, I wonder if that was at all intentional of saying, look, this is how we can cut the runtime down, because it's interesting too. You have to think about the runtime of 3 different movies, essentially, right? Because each ending is not exactly the same length, is it?
No, I'm pretty sure the last one we're going to watch has to be longer.
Right.
So that's weird too, because they send the movie off to the theaters and say, okay, this is 93 minutes or whatever. Maybe.
Perhaps.
But you would think like they'd have to kind of do it almost like a TV show where it has to time out the same. And this one just goes by quick.
It very fast.
Quick. When we watched the Scarlet one last time, that seemed quicker to me than I remember. So who knows? Maybe when we watch this next one, it'll just breeze through. But it seems like the next one has to not only does it have to have flashbacks of everybody, but we have to pause for flames on the side of my face, and that is not rushed.
No, they give it its proper due. You know what I mean? They give it its moment where it's needed. Well, what I was thinking is, I was like, oh, maybe they didn't shoot flashbacks for this because they're trying to save time. But then I was like, oh, wait, this is a different cut of the movie. So the time shouldn't be as big of a concern unless they were thinking about down the road, like when we put all these 3 together, we don't want it to be too long. I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah. This one just feels, as much as I appreciate it a little more than I thought I was going to. I still feel this one feels kind of rushed in the ways that the others aren't. And if this were the only ending, what would you think if Clue only had one ending and it was Mrs. Peacock all along? Would that?
It's hard to answer, man.
Would you be disappointed?
It's hard to answer because I know there are 2 other endings. You know what I mean?
Right. Like the other 2, if that's the only ending, I'm on board. This one, I'd kind of like, oh, really? Okay. I guess. All right.
Like, think about this. If the end of Back to the Future was just Marty and Jennifer kissing in the driveway, and that's how the movie ends, aren't you a sight for sore eyes? I hadn't seen you in a week or whatever. It's probably still a really satisfying ending.
No, the tag is just like icing on the cake for sure. However, it's funny you would say that because I remember when I was a kid and I saw Back to the Future to the theater, after George kisses Lorraine at the Enchantment of Sea dance and the Earth Angel kicks in and the camera goes all the way up, I thought the movie was over. Well, I guess we never get to see him go back to the future, but he did it. So I hope he makes it. And then it kept going after that and did Johnny Be Good. And I thought, oh, there's more. But I thought that was the end. So I could go way back into Back to the Future and be happy with that being the ending.
So I guess, having said that, if this was the only ending I ever saw, I would enjoy it. Because everything was so satisfying up into this moment, I probably would have been equally satisfied.
I guess. We don't live in that universe, though. We
don't.
live in a universe with three endings to Clue.
But you know what? We're almost to the actual ending of Clue. Now, what we will do is,
what really happened, yes.
During the credits, I think we're going to read the fourth ending, right? I think when the credits come up, we should start reading through the fourth ending and go through like how that could have been, and go into that. But again, it's getting sad, man, that we're winding down. I mean, we got less than a dozen left.
Oh, okay.
So
I have nothing to say.
But you know what?
Yeah.
I actually have to get ready for a hurricane.
That's true. Right now, you know who's crying about this being almost over? God. He's got big tears going on in Houston right now. He's crying that we're almost done with Clue the Movie podcast. So thank you, Lord.
But at least we have another show.
Appreciate you.
At least we have another show in the pipeline.
We do.
We'll
Don't forget. And if you missed hearing about that, we talked. I think we've only talked. I might have talked about it twice.
I think we did once, but pick 6
Just once.
will be the next podcast.
Pick 6. Yes. And my 6. Wait, do I have 3 or 6?
You have 6.
Do you have 3 and I have 3?
No. You have 6.
We both have to do 6?
Yeah.
I have to watch 6? Okay.
It's over a year.
That's true. And my 6 keep changing.
So do mine.
I want you to know, folks, we're still weeks. No. The ones you send me, I've noticed, because Brad is not good at keeping his thoughts under his hat. We're like weeks away from even doing this, but I will get texts at random moments. And all it is, have you seen this movie? I have not. And then it'll just be like, there'll be a long pause, maybe a day. And then the next one will be, okay. Oh no! I think that courtroom comedy is going to be into my 6 coming up.
Oh baby, yeah.
But there are some I do like. I'm excited to watch, and the restraint I have had, actually, to be honest, is there are some that I know are streaming right now, and when I've been looking for something to watch, I go, I can watch Collision Course right now.
There's 2 that I need you that are never going to leave the list, and that's Collision Course and The Phantom. Those are going to be there.
And I think I admitted that I have started both at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But my my Wi-Fi went out when I was trying to watch The Phantom. So it kept buffering the whole time. So I had to give up. And then Collision Course, I just went, I'll come back to this.
Oh, man.
Short. I'll do it when I have to.
When we have to for the homework assignment. Well, Jeff, I think that's it for this minute. We'll come back.
Good luck with the weather. I can't believe we got through it. I was worried.
I know. I was worried too.
The lights were going to go out, and that's how I'd have to throw you out on this weather.
Yes.
You might be suspicious.
But I'm going to get acquainted with this Houston weather
Candles?
and see what's going to happen, man.
All right.
All right. Well,
Let's
that's
do it again
Jeff Smith.
soon.
Make sure you go to black8studios.com and get a Cluevian keychain. You know, that's black8studios.com and get the Cluevian keychain. But until next time, that's Jeff Smith. I'm
and
Brad.
You can go to our websites too, by the way.
Oh,
it's fine.
Cluepod.com, Cluedoc.com, and theboatbradgilmore.com. You can go to all those places.
All those things.
But until next time,
I mean, you already know that.
That's Jeff Smith. I'm Brad Gilmore. This is Clue Movie Podcast, minute 86. And we'll be back, right, next week with Minute
We'll be back.
87.
One of those.